So right now I'm just starting my junior year of college, and at the start of the semester for the first time, I got an upgraded laptop. In my freshman year of college, I started out with the 2018 Intel MacBook Pro, and this year I upgraded to the 2022 M2 MacBook Pro. It really just gets the new chip, which gives it some performance upgrades, but other than that, it's the same screen, same keyboard, same touchpad, same ports, unfortunately. Just building on the M1 MacBook Pro, which is already great. I've had this Mac for about 2 months now, so I've gotten the chance to kind of test it out and see what it can do. And coming from an Intel Mac, there's a difference. First of all, after owning the 2018 model for over 2 years, it was starting to struggle on the projects I was doing. At my university, we actually have a system where laptops are provided with tuition, which, if you think about it, makes a lot of sense for a school. If every student has the same laptops with the same programs on them, the school can design their classes around the laptops that the students have, rather than just guessing what the students are going to have and telling them to work on totally different machines. Like, things would just become way more confusing and difficult if the teacher is trying to teach a program on a Windows laptop while the students are working on Mac laptops. So for the school, it makes a lot of sense, but for students like me, it also means you don't always get the exact laptop you would like. But I'll get into that a little more later. And I can't totally blame the machine because my work usually involves multiple track Premiere Pro and After Effects sessions, sometimes with 4K video, stuff that most people would probably be using a desktop computer for. But the amount of nights that my roommate was getting mad at me because I was editing late and my computer sounded like a jet engine taking off in our room, or the amount of times that my professors paused lectures because of how loud my MacBook fans were being, was getting a little ridiculous. And now after switching, the new MacBook can take on projects that the old one could never really do. So far, I haven't really had any problems editing 4K video or doing motion graphics, or even export times are faster. Since getting this laptop, I just find myself being surprised by how fast it does things. Like, even just opening Photoshop is lightning fast. Or at least it feels like it. I kind of forgot how nice it actually is to be able to just edit a video without my computer freezing up every few minutes. And it does everything while staying way quieter than the last one. The fan noise was actually a huge problem. I'm a little bummed that the design is the same, and most things about the design are pretty fine. The keyboard and trackpad work great, Touch ID, power button is great, the screen is just fine. But for someone who uses SD cards all the time, it's kind of a bummer to only have 2 ports. It's not that big a deal because I already have the dongles anyways, but the port situation kind of sucks. But really, this MacBook delivers on everything I would want and expect from a refresh. Really, the biggest problem I see with this MacBook is that it came out at a weird time. So in late 2021, Apple came out with their all-new MacBook Pro design, and it basically upgraded on every possible feature that people would want the new MacBook to upgrade on. It got a bigger, better screen, they got rid of the touch bar, it got a new camera, it actually got ports, and then with the M1 Pro and the M1 Max, they got an even bigger spec bump from what the M1 already had. And then about half a year later this summer, Apple introduced the M2 MacBook Air, which got a ton of the new features that the new MacBook Pros had at a much more affordable price. And then right after they announced the new MacBook Air, that's when they threw in the M2 MacBook Pro, which had none of the new features that the new MacBooks had, just new chip, old body, simple refresh. There you go. I think in the 2-hour presentation where they introduced this, they talked about this computer for a total of like a minute and a half. So it was just kind of a weird computer to throw in the lineup. It kind of feels like they just wanted a computer that they could call Pro that's still at a cheaper price point. Because I don't think the computer itself is all that much better than the M2 MacBook Air, if it's better than that at all, and it comes in at $100 more expensive. Think about it like this. If you look at these two computers side by side on the comparison view in Apple's own website, the M2 MacBook Pro actually only has 2 features that are better than the MacBook Air side by side. And those 2 things are battery life and the higher watt charger that come in the package. But the MacBook Air, on the other hand, in that same comparison, has 3 features that are better. Those 3 features being the higher resolution webcam, larger screen size, and more ports with the MagSafe charger. I guess the MacBook Pro does also have the touch bar that the MacBook Air doesn't have, but I don't really count that one as a feature. Personally, I'm kind of indifferent to the touch bar, but from what I've seen, there's actually more people that would rather get rid of it than keep it. And even with all that, don't forget the MacBook Air is actually $100 cheaper than the MacBook Pro. But even though it might not actually be better than the MacBook Air, it sounds better because it's got the Pro title. So if you're a college student and you're looking to buy a new laptop right now, here's what I'd recommend. The M2 MacBook Pro is a really good computer. It can handle a ton of the things that you can throw at it despite being a laptop. But Apple has a few other options that I think are better for most students. For most people, I think the best recommendation is the M2 MacBook Air. It has almost all the same performance capabilities as this MacBook Pro, with a design that's newer, thinner, lighter, has more ports. Or if you're a student like me who's often doing tasks that are more intense on your computer and you just don't think that the Air will keep up, I think the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros are worth taking a look at. They have the power to give you a better experience doing more complicated tasks, and with the new design, they give you the ports that you're probably gonna need. But those computers also get more expensive, which I know can be really difficult for a college student. And if the features that this laptop has over the MacBook Air, like cooling or longer battery life, are important to you, then maybe the M2 MacBook Pro is just the computer for you. So if you're a student looking for a new laptop, I hope this video was helpful, and I hope to see you in the next one. See ya. Have a good day.